Welcome back, everybody, to the Blackstone Fortress. My name is Chris, aka Snowy Night Owl. I'm here hosting again. Haven't got rid of me yet. Sorry. I'm sure you can cancel me just for being me if you really want to, but prefer if you didn't. Joined tonight by Coda, aka Limerick, and Mark, aka Marky Mark, aka Oh Hi Mark.
All the things I don't like.
all,
My coworkers discovered this recently, and now they all say it to me.
oh, do they?
It's very upsetting.
I like your coworkers. They sound like people I'd get along with.
Yeah,
Small crew today. How are we doing, boys?
a little light, a little fluffy, you know.
I'm doing
But
right. Can't complain.
can't complain, this man says.
If that fluffy feeling lasts for more than 2 hours, you're supposed to call your doctor.
I'm not sure this is the place.
I would like to, without giving away what we're talking about today, I'd like to suggest a drinking game for our listeners.
Uh-oh.
But you have to hate yourself. So anytime one of us mentions the word cast or greater good, take a drink.
For the greater good!
Here's
your first one. That's a freebie.
And by the end of it, if you're still standing, you can thank me for the liver disease.
Yeah, so on that subject, let's say thank you to a commenter from last episode who wants us to talk about the Tau a lot. So this is going to be a bit of a Tau centric episode. Eventually, we've also got some hobby news to get through. We got a new data slate, and apparently G-Dub didn't realize that Christmas is only in December, and they decided to just sort of keep going because reasons.
Lines of the Emperor. Oh.
Yeah, right. So lots to talk about tonight. Why don't we start with the stuff that we have not been specifically requested to talk about, because, you know, God knows that's what we're good at. And talk about these new drops that Games Workshop gave us the other day.
Where do you want to start? I mean,
honestly, it's a big topic, right? Like, I'm kind of looking at it. Oh, here we go. First piece of completely out of the blue news. Space Marine 3 announced as in development.
Yes.
Which
so successful.
I mean, I love Space Marine 2, don't get me wrong. But announcing a game when it's got minimum 3 years of dev work left, like, even if they use the Swarm engine again and all of their existing assets, it's not going to come together fast. And announcing it before you've got anything done on it has never gone well historically in this industry. So we'll see. The
ever pessimistic person on our podcast. I'm actually excited.
Well, and that's just I'm it's not that I'm not excited about it. It's not that I think it's going to be bad because they've announced it this early. I think it is a wild decision to announce it this early, because they've already had to do a follow-up post in their Discord after the announcement saying, guys, we're not abandoning Space Marine 2. Stop panicking.
The thing that caught my attention was that they want to make a more in-depth campaign,
which I like. I'm not unhappy.
So, yeah, part of me wonders if Space Marine 3 is going to go the way of the AARPG.
Oh.
A third-person hack and slash with a more fleshed out campaign where the idea is, instead of grinding for points to buy the gear, it's loot drop based.
I'm gonna be honest, I kind of hate that idea.
There's so many like loot based drop games, you know.
I feel like they honestly would have a better shot at doing a good job, at least as far as the community is concerned, with that, by doing that with Dawn of War 4. Like,
so the reason I mention it is because to date, the only game that is still has a positive following, because all their games have a following, but for the most part, like Darktide has just the diehards that understand the game sucks, but really, what else are you going to do?
Sure.
You have the people who are playing Rogue Trader, which great game, but it's an eclectic following.
A little bit, yeah.
Mhm.
The only other game that has a significant following still is Murder.
Oh yeah, that one.
I mean,
And
don't get me wrong, Inquisitor Martyr is fun.
And it is, but I think if they tried to take some ideas from it, I'm not saying they turn it into an ARPG. I could see it being more of a we get choices on how we're going to go through the campaign instead of it just be linear.
Mhm.
I mean, less linear is almost always a good thing in my book. I don't know that Space Marine is the series to do it with, you know?
Yeah, I'd be like the however they do it. I've tried like Space Marine 1 to Space Marine 2 had huge game improvements, had huge graphical improvements, had huge engine improvements. So obviously, the time there was important, but I think they've earned the rope to hang themselves with.
Oh my.
Oh, 100% they have. My other, you know what game I hope they actually take more lessons from, and or I should say games, because there's two that I have in mind that I hope they like call them up and ask for tips and take notes. And this is going to sound really weird because one of these is a studio that I have like vehemently cursed into the depths of hell for their behaviors in recent years. I would love to see them take some notes, not many, but some notes from the Division series and from Destiny.
Oh,
Yeah.
imagine like imagine a Destiny Destiny game for Space Marines. That'd be insane.
I mean,
Or just
Destiny got a Space Marine crossover, I think.
No.
No, what did they get a crossover with? Was it Star Wars? They got a real like fucked up crossover the other day, and I was like, huh?
I don't know.
But just give me the
Um,
gameplay of Destiny with like, just give me like Necromunda or something, and then we're good.
I actually, did you ever play Necromunda Hired Blade, Mark?
No, no. I
It's
saw
free on
clips.
Prime, or it
Oh,
was.
yes.
And I have
Um,
heard good things about it in general. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. The thing that I want them to get from Bungie and I think it's Massive is the developer behind the Division games, is the idea of, because I'm very anti live service. This game needs to not be live service. It needs to never become live service. And they've come out and admitted that after their most recent event, like, hey, we shouldn't have tried to act like a live service. It's not a live service. We're very sorry. And that was good. What I like though is the one thing that Destiny always did well was the concept of the story as a service. Like, major content drops that are not story focused from Destiny were always the worst of what they did, and just didn't feel good. But then what kept me, at least back in the day, coming back to Destiny was the expansion drops and the storyline dungeons and the stuff that they would add content to the game to tell more of the story. And that's kind of what I wanted from Space Marine 2, but it sounds like they really weren't positioned for that. I think they kind of hedged their bets on how much success they would have. But a Space Marine 3 that's not a true live service, but maybe like 2 steps closer to that line, I think would be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm looking forward to it. Like you said, though, we're what half a decade away from it.
Minimum.
Mid-
And that's what I find wild about this announcement. So, it,
Yeah,
honestly,
everyone.
if there had been some other major announcement that they were like trying to steal the thunder from, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's kind of ruthless corporate politics, but I guess you do you, G-Dub. But no, it's literally just like, hey, we heard you guys like Space Marine 2. Guess what? We're making another one. Surprise. Like, okay, right? Great.
Like, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That being
that
said, though, the only, at least in this space, the only company that they were stealing the thunder from is themselves with this balance data slate that they dropped the other day. And there's a couple of things that I find interesting. So their article where they talked about the 3 detachments that they dropped, because they dropped a new detachment for Tau, Orcs, and
Yeah.
Custodes.
Totally doesn't talk about the fourth attachment.
Huh?
It totally doesn't talk about the fourth attachment.
Oh,
What?
is there a fourth?
There's a fourth detachment. It only
Yeah.
says 3 here.
You're right, it does. However, Shadow Legion.
Oh,
got an update.
right.
Or got the,
What?
whatever, I don't know what it is.
Chaos Demons. I think Chaos Demons actually got their own article.
Either way, it was funny because they're like, here's 3 new detachments, and then a 4th detachment.
And also this one.
And also, bonus detachment.
Wild.
Yeah.
So okay, there's a lot to talk about with this update that they've dropped kind of, willy-nilly out of the blue on us. And
Yes.
I don't know 100% where to start, because there really is just so much going on here that
Okay,
I'm not.
So I'm gonna take over then, Mr. Host.
Oh my god. Okay.
We're gonna start with the balance slate
Yes.
because
Data Slate.
the slate. Let's take a look at this.
Take a look at this.
Not that I can actually, pull anything up on screen because podcast, but
Yeah. So, first thing we need to notice is that it sucks to be a space marine.
Yeah.
Which
Changes
the rest
to-
of us go, okay, finally.
yeah.
Space Marines got whipped hard with the nerf bat. You're looking at complete changes to the bridgehead strike, which was one of the things they used hardcore. Complete changes to Liberator's Assault Group with no longer getting Oath. So, like, Blood Angels that aren't.
Yeah. Okay.
The points increase across all their cheap shooting stuff and some targeted point increases to Ultramarine heroes. Like it was a bad day to be a top tier Space Marine player, which means it's a good day to be everybody else.
Woo!
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
You like the Slash Demons because with the new codex that is coming out, they got crushed with nerfs to the data sheets and stratagems.
So sad.
And for some reason, Tactical Brigade took a vicious mauling as well, as Goonhammer puts it.
Goonhammer.
Fair enough.
Those are the ones that did not like what came out of the data slate.
Okay. Now who's dancing in the streets?
So we're gonna start with your glitzy and glammy counterparts, the Imperial Knights.
Ugh.
Despite being a top army and getting a decrease in points on the Dominus Knights.
Yep.
They skate by with no nerfs.
Yeah, they were untouched, which, everybody's thrilled about.
Deathwatch receives the same overlook. Nothing changed while being the least impacted by all the Space Marine hits.
Okay.
Adeptus Sororitas got a bunch of point drops and partial rollbacks from Miracle Dice nerfs, which should make them viable at least.
Yeah, you get them more often now.
And then if you are a demon fan, you'll like the Nurgle demons. They look to be the way to go. And then this new Shadow Legion, which is it's Bellacor's chosen revamped, lets you bring demons and Heretic Astartes all together. So, I mean, that's always fun. The odd one. Oh, and look, Mr. Someone joined us.
Oh, he did make it.
I am here.
It's funny that he comes at this point in time, because I was just about to say, as the Tactical Brigade takes a hit to their rules, which means that the best Orc detachment for some reason gets nerfed. They might have just been saved.
The new shooty detachment.
Oh, more DACA.
And this segues into those 3 new detachments.
So orcs, Adeptus Custodes, and what was the third one?
It's the Tau, right?
Yes,
crisis
Tau.
suits and all that fun.
Yeah, the battle suits detachment. What I am hearing, and this is just sort of a smattering of conversations that I've heard on the internet, is that the orcs players are going, hallelujah, we're saved from the nerfs because we've got a new thing that has not been nerfed. Custodes players are just sort of giggling evilly in the corner, and Tau players are going, yeah, okay.
Essentially, so orc players who, I mean, to be fair, none of their detachments were really the shootiest of the shooties.
Yep.
They now have a detachment that is very shooting focused. It gives all their weapons sustain 2. And when they're in Wa, it gives them assault.
Very nice.
About time.
So when they Wa, they have a 5-up invul and assault on all their guns.
You know, I kind of feel like GW missed an opportunity with this detachment to not sell some new orc dice, because army-wide sustained hits on orc shooting, orc players are going to need them.
Yeah. The big one, or then you have the Tau, because I'm going down the list of things.
Mhm.
It's called the experiment. So first off, Orc 1 is called Mordbaka. Let's just throw it in there. I'm not going to go through every bit of the detachment. They're on the websites. You can download them. This one I'm going to give, just looking at it, an 8 out of 10. Mostly because if you're bringing
Low.
He says 12 out of 10.
If you're bringing a shooty orc list, your melee is going to be lacking, and melee armies are already tough to play, but rewarded really well for getting in.
Yep.
So, I give it an 8 out of 10. It's very, very strong. I don't know if it'll win tables. It might, but I think you'll have to play like a Tau player.
Except you
Gunline
get to talk
orcs.
like this the whole game.
No.
And your toughness 5 on everything.
Ooh, that's
or more.
nice.
Yeah,
So-
no. So orcs themselves are very hardy, and the detachment's good. It just seems odd to me. You're going to give them sustain 2. They're going to bring all their guns, and then you're going to give them assault on the Wa, which is great. Except isn't the Wa also assault or charge or advance and charge?
See, your assumption is that orc players are going to have this and not still charge and have plenty of melee options. Orcs love shooting, but they also love crumping. And anyone who takes this is going to basically have as many meganobs as they can.
Yeah,
And that'll be
so-
their melee muscle, and that's all they'll need.
As a person who plays on the competitive tables, I'll take an army that Swiss army, or that I'll take a 2,000 point list that Swiss Army knifes himself into oblivion any day of the week.
I'll take it.
If your list is meant to shoot and everything you bring that's meleeed is a detriment to your list.
We'll just have to see if it's good.
No, I mean, honestly, like there are units that break that mold because you can like meganobs are just good in melee, bar none. Not as good as they should be for their points, but that's another argument. But you slap a custom shooter on them, they can pop out volume like you would not believe. Like the thing with a shooty orc army like this is that you're still not really relying on your shooting to do your work. You
Well,
are
it's
just filling the
that-
board with bullets and then finishing everything off with a hard hitting melee.
I would agree with you, except that you lose the extra ball from being bully boys. You lose all your stratagems are shooting based. So you're right. The idea is to pepper somebody into oblivion and clean them up afterwards, but you have no recourse if that's not how that goes.
Yeah, but I mean, again,
Like,
orcs players are used to being swingy, so
in
we
the
don't
same way,
mind.
like world eaters, if you continually outrun me on the table board, on the table, and I can't get into melee, I have no recourse. I have no shooting. But so in that case, like if I bring a forge fiend with a bunch of ectoplasm, I spend 300 points on something I can't support because none of my stratagems support that. So it's interesting. I'm interested to see how it is this term. I'm going to, not this weekend, but next weekend, has said that these are viable because they came out before our rules lock. So I'm expecting to see at least one or two of them.
Some people
Yeah, I'm
doing
not
some
saying that it's going
experiments.
to be like a tournament table topper, but I think it's awesome.
Oh, it's definitely fun. It'll be everybody like, it'll bring back the days of, oh, good, the orc player's rolling the shoot. I'm going to go make lunch.
Yeah.
The now one, experimental prototype cadre. Their detachment rule is add 6 inches to the range characteristic of all ranged weapons equipped by Tau Empire models.
So good.
Not even battlesuit specific. In the battlesuit detachment, everybody gets better.
Yes.
And honestly, considering how scary breachers are as it is,
That's all their flamers. That's everything. Like you're now what either an 18 or a 24-inch flamer,
yep.
and then you are a 24-inch Melta or 30-inch Melta.
Oh my god.
I thought what are the fusion blasters? They're 30 baseline, aren't they?
They might be. I don't know how data slates that well. But but for me, the big thing of that is add 3 inches to Melta range.
Yep.
God
Like
damn.
you're now hitting on 30. So on let's say it is an 18-inch Melta range. You're now melting outside of charge range.
Yep.
Oof.
And with how good the Tau are at Overwatch.
And for those that don't know what I'm talking about, Melta is a keyword on Melta guns, or the Melta gun variant. That is all damage plus Melta whatever. So if you have a gun that says Melta 4, it's all damage plus Melta 4. And that 4 cannot be mitigated.
Yeah, it just happens.
It just happens.
Yeah.
Like you could technically feel no pain it, but you can't like reduce it otherwise.
So like these Primarchs that reduce incoming damage by half? No, they don't.
No, they don't. They get melted.
Yeah.
Dear God.
Experimental ammunition for 1 CP. Improve this, so you get to choose. Improve the strength characteristic of your ranged weapon by 1, or improve the strength and armor characteristic of a ranged weapon by 1, but it gives it hazardous.
That's spicy. That's incredibly spicy.
A lot of these ones that I'm looking at, your weapon will end up getting hazardous, but you're getting like sustain 1 lethal hits and then hazardous.
One of the theories on this list that I stumbled across on Reddit earlier today is it's actually going to be a really good list to run hilariously Farsight in, because he's got very reliable CP generation, and you pretty much guaranteed want 2 CP a turn.
Mhm.
Yeah. Experimental weaponry, 1 CP. You get to reroll your number of attacks for any time you roll for attacks.
Yep.
Like this thing is just,
Oh my God.
I think this, like, again, Tau data sheets are not great for me, so I don't know exactly how they work. I do know that Fusion Blades, your Fusion Blaster now becomes 1 extra attack, 1 extra strength, or sorry, 3 extra strength and melt to 4.
Don't they have a baby lone op strat too?
They do not. It is the next group that does.
Are we gonna sleep on the fact we're talking through Tau strategy? We're gonna sleep on the fact that the orc one got a 1 CP stratagem to put the wah on a unit every turn?
Baby Wah.
Yes, get stuck in, lads.
Yeah, your mega knobs now have infinite wah.
Oh my God.
Absolutely incredible. And it's only 1 CP.
Yeah.
Where those Gretchen just digging through the dirt. I found another CP.
Long uncontrolled bursts gives all your weapons within 18 inches. Sorry, select one enemy unit within 18 inches. Until that phase, every orc model that attacks it has ignore cover.
Yeah, there's some wild ones in there.
Yeah, it's like Jesus Christ.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
The only I will say, like, sorry, I will let you continue in a second, Limerick. My only complaint with Mordaka is that it's gonna get nerfed into the ground.
Oh.
I could just tell.
We will see. I am not 100% sure on that. It could be. It could be very strong, and I just don't know it works well. But we'll see.
Even if it doesn't go like nuts at tournament, like I guarantee it's gonna do well enough that they're gonna nerf a bunch of stuff. Because we don't get to have nice things.
No.
Well, there's that. You're orcs. No, you don't. You just think you have nice things. That's good enough for you.
Fair.
The last detachment, Lions
Which
of the Emperor.
okay, I'm just gonna say right now, I'm terrified based off how the other two detachments have gone. I'm utterly terrified in this moment.
Yeah. So, Adeptus Custodes, great army, easy to paint. Not doing so well at the moment on the tables.
Yeah.
The reason it's not doing so well at the moment on the tables is because there's no detachment it has really leans into what Custodes are supposed to do. And to tie lore into this, Custodes are the lion to the Adeptus Astartes wolf. So the idea is that the Adeptus Astartes work in squads, in battalions, in groups, packs. They are wolf-like mentality. Custodes are the lion that works alone. It might work alongside other lions, but it doesn't worry about what they're doing. He does what he does. And this is all that.
Oh, I see.
So the detachment rule for this is all Adeptus Custodia units, excluding vehicles, when they make an attack, if there is no other friendly unit within 6 inches of that unit, add 1 to the hit roll and 1 to the wound roll.
Sorry,
Gross.
hit and wound?
Yes. So why is this a big deal? Well, to start off, every custodian hits on 2. You can't hit on 1, but it means that I now do not give a crap if you pop smoke. I do not give a crap if you're in cover. I do not give a crap about anything that you do because I'm hitting on 2s.
Limerick's so excited he's swallowing his mic.
I'm not swallowing the mic.
I think the mic is just getting bigger.
Exactly. It's excited too.
Oh god.
The other thing is, add 1 to the room roll makes up for the fact that you're probably not bringing a lot of vehicles. So your infantry is not going to be able to carve through insanely tough things. Now, their enhancements are, I'll say good, but there's one you're going to take on something and it's going to be stupid.
Oh boy.
So superior creation, when a character when a Custodes infantry model dies, you roll a 6. On a 2-up, you get back, just get stand back up with full wounds remaining. Whatever, right?
That's pretty impressive from a Necron perspective. I only come up with half my wounds remaining.
Fierce Conqueror, yeah, shield captain model only. Add 2 attacks for every 5 enemy models around you. So, melee weapons get blessed.
I'm not locked locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
Adam and Mortis, shield captain model only. Improve the strength characteristic of a melee weapon by 1 and the armor and damage characteristic by 1. All pretty good, right? But I left 1 out because this is the stupid one.
Oh boy.
Presidius. Adeptus Custodes model only. The bearer has lone op and stealth.
What? Stealth on a custodian?
Oh, stealth. So you're going to put this on a shield captain on a Dawn Eagle jet bike.
A stealthy jet bike?
He is going to sit outside of 12
Lucky shining
inches.
golden jet bike.
He's going to sit outside of 12 inches. You're not going to be able to target him. And if you do, you're going to have to -1 to hit. And he's going to be able to just shoot salvo missiles at you however he wants and then decide to run into you with his lance.
I hate it.
What's the movement on one of those bikes? Like what, 12 inches?
12 inches.
So you could basically you could literally just outrun anything that comes towards you anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Now, it's model only, so your shield captain's going to be by himself, but it's a Custodes, so, like,
For
okay.
Custodes, it doesn't matter if he's by himself.
This is the one that is stupid.
Utterly horrifying.
It's gonna be amazing.
And then we get into their stratagems.
Oh no.
Gilded Champion, 1 CP. Any phase just after an Adeptus Custodi character model from your army using an ability on the datasheet that says it's 1 per battle. You can use that ability again. It's not in the same phase.
Not in the same.
So, your Wardens can now use... characters. Sorry, so your Blade Champion can now advance and charge twice.
Wow.
Trajan Valoris can Moment Shackle twice.
You can't put the enhancement on Trajan. Oh, it's a stratagem.
Stratagem for
Fuck.
1 CP.
Strategy.
Jesus.
Woo.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Come to play.
Unleash the Lions. In your command phase, your Terminators, you break them apart. So your unit of 3 Terminators now becomes 3 units of 1.
Ah, interesting.
Which gives you a lot of flexibility with that detachment ability.
Yeah, it's like everyone run 6 inches away from each other.
Swift as the Eagle lets you move when you're... So one Adeptus Custodes army that was selected as the target of 1 or more attack, you can move up to 6 or D6.
Gross.
Just after your shot. So it's a blood surge.
Nice.
Like, all these detachments are so insane. I play against a lot of custodians, so I'm horrified at what they'll do with a list that is meant for them to be separated. Because right now their play style is, okay, I'm taking the left board, then going to sweep around and take the right board. Or I'm going to take the right board and sweep around and take the left board. Because they need to be one big hammer. When they no longer need to be one big hammer, you die with 1,000 paper cuts.
I don't know that those count as paper cuts.
But the orc list is amazing. Objectively, the orc detachment is great. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to play if you're an orc fan, because it is very orky.
Orc.
Yeah, no, it is, and like I kind of poo-pooed it with in the tournament setting, but to be frank, every army has 1 or 2 tournament lists.
Well, I don't know that every detachment has to be tournament worthy. Like, they gotta have some fun shit in there too, you know?
Well, and that's exactly it. And even top players, they don't play the top list every time they go to a tournament. Sometimes they really do just want to have fun.
A lot of orc players too don't play to be competitive. They play to have fun, and it will be fun.
Exactly. So I look forward to playing against them. It will be fun. The Tau one, I think, is a love letter to the battle suits, because everybody was like, okay, what about a battle suit detachment?
Yeah. Honestly, if I was ever going to play Tau again, if I was going to put up with that much space weeb, a battle suit list would do it.
And then the Custodes, I think, finally have a detachment that they can play Custody games in.
Yeah, sink their teeth into, and then into me.
So I'm excited for it all. I'm excited for the next quarter with the next group.
Oh yeah.
I have a feeling we're going to see some very interesting things for... Oh, I forgot the 4th detachment.
Oh, right, the demons one.
Everyone does.
It was the... Oh, where is it?
Now, is this technically a demons detachment or a CSM detachment?
So it is part of the Index demons. Because they updated that because it no longer includes Slanesh.
Uh-huh.
Give me a second. Where did that go? Anyways, it's a Legion of Shadows.
Okay.
And it is Bellacor's list to not be overly
I was gonna say so.
stupid.
Bellicor.
Yeah, it really is. The detachment rule, has 6 rules to work with. This detachment has not one but 6 rules, each with a different set of units in the army. Corn units can shoot and declare charge in the turn they advance. Zeech units subtract 1 from the enemy hit rolls. Nurgle units, if the strength of they get a warden save if their strength is higher than the toughness -1 to wound.
Oh, bodyguard roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Opponents can't use Overwatch stratagems against Slanesh units.
Really?
I like using those.
Yeah.
Maybe I should play Slanesh.
Shadowed. Well, no, so it's Slanesh units within this legion. So the idea is that if it's an undivided legion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Undivided units in the army have the Dark Pact rule, even though their faction isn't Heretic Astartes.
Oh,
Be'lakor automatically passes the leadership for his Dark Pacts. And all Shadow Legion Heretic Astartes models have Deep Strike.
excuse me.
I will say one of the other comments that I saw, this was on Reddit as I was looking through Reddit today after these dropped. Somebody was in the comments of one of the posts about the data slate and went, "Why the hell did Be'lakor go up 50 points?" And the reply to him said, "TBH, probably not enough based on his buffs." And all he said underneath was, "Holy shit, my bad, you're right."
Yeah, him being able to Dark Pact whenever he wants, which gives him either lethals or sustains.
Well, and not even just that for like this specific detachment. His data sheet got some love, I guess.
What? Really?
Perfect. Well, I don't think you can bring him in any other detachment.
Yeah, well, but he like he himself, he went up 50 points because he got at least 50 points better, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. So with this one, when mustering your army, you can't include any demon princes or epic heroes except for Be'lakor. But you can bring Chaos Lords, Terminator Lords, Jump Back Lords, Master Possession, Sorcerers, Terminator Squads, Chosen, Havocs, Legionnaires, Possessed, Raptors, Warp Talons.
Well, that's mildly disappointing. I wanted to bring Typhus with Be'lakor and see what happened.
Yeah, right. Like,
So it gonna look interesting.
chaos divided by 1.
Leaping Shadows gives models in the Bears unit 9-inch scout ability, which if put on like Bloodthirsters or Blood Crushers, they can guarantee first turn charge.
Yep.
Mantle of Gloom, reduce throw C by 1.
Oh, like aura.
Oh yeah, how far away?
Engagement range.
Yeah, okay.
At the end of a fight phase, if the Bears unit destroyed an enemy unit within this phase and isn't within engagement range, you can pull it. So, okay, if you killed the thing you're fighting against and there's nothing else around you, you can uppy downy.
Oh, that's fun. What was there was another one that got...
Malice Made Manifest at the start of the fight phase. Pick an enemy unit with an engagement range of the bear. Roll d6 on a 2 to 5. You take d3 mortal wounds. On a 6, they just take 3 mortal wounds.
That just keeps happening. Oh, okay.
Just all of everything all at once.
Spiteful Demise gives things explosions. Yeah, no, it just... Death denied 1 CP. 1 Shadow Legion unit in the army regains 3 wounds. If it's a Zeech keyword, you also get back a non-destroyed character model.
Good lord.
So 1 CP and 3 wounds for 3 wounds is pretty good.
Oh, right. They did do data sheet changes for Chaos Demons too. Bloodthirsters, Scarbrand, and Blood Crushers all now get a 3-up armor save. Daemonettes and Transweavers have fights first at all times. Great Unclean Ones increase the toughness of nearby Nurgle units. Kairos Fate Weaver got some new abilities, and Be'lakor got completely overhauled.
Jesus Christ.
Let's see where
And Chaos
I want-
getting all the crazy data slates all of
I
a
want
sudden.
Bellacor's. Where's the? Okay, hold on. Where's the? Do. Is the data sheets in here?
It's in the index. I'm just looking for Be'lakor.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. Garbrand, does this show his 3-up armor save now? Yes, it does. Okay, where's Be'lakor? Bloodthirster. These are all corn.
They're set up in there. We're Be'lakor. Oh, he has a 2-pager.
No.
So he has psychic attacks, focused witchfire, hazardous, dev wounds, ignores cover. Okay, so he has a flamethrower. He has a sweep with sustain hits 1, or a strike with dev wounds. The strike's strength 14. It's a last cannon.
Last cannon melee weapon.
How far down is he? I'm not finding him.
Page 105.
105.
Dark Master, area of the battlefield within 6 inches of this model is within your Shadow of Chaos.
That's not new.
At the start of your battle, select one shadow form. Shadow forms. Friendly Legiones Demonica or Shadow Legion unit within 6 inches of the model.
Baby loan up.
Yep.
So
Oh, Despair.
It's the Chaos Knight's ability, but better.
Yeah.
Because it
Shadow Lord.
auto triggers a fucking mini terror shades without costing CP every time it goes off.
Yeah. So Reset Shadow gives your friendly units loan up.
While they're within 6 inches.
Well, yeah. Paul Despair, if you're below starting strength and within 9 inches of Be'lakor, you're taking mortal wounds.
It's a battle shock test at -1. And if you fail, you
it's D3 mortal wounds.
Oh my god.
Actually, it's not.
Oh no.
It heals Be'lakor for D3 wounds.
Ah, that's what it is. The Be'lakor can heal. That's great.
So he slurps health off of battle shocking enemies.
And then Shadow Lord just reroll hit rolls of 1. So that won't ever be used.
That's insane.
But if he's in your army, he has to be a warlord.
Well, yeah, but you pretty much only bring him with his detachment.
Well, you can bring him with a Shadow of Chaos. You just couldn't bring him with anything else.
He's got Deep Strike and Stealth. Did you see that?
Yep.
4 up in Vuln save, 3 up armor save.
He's -1 to hit, 20 wounds, T11.
Yeah. 12 inches of movement.
So, the reason why Shadow of Chaos being within 6 inches of the spell is important is because I believe in a Shadow of Chaos army, it allows you to deep strike next to him. Even if you're closer to your enemies. Give me a second to find it out.
That's crazy. I'm going to let you figure that out and you guys discuss. I'm going to mute for just a second.
So in Shadow Chaos, anytime an enemy takes a battle shock test, so anytime you take a battle shock test, add 1. And if that test is passed, the model unit regains D3 wounds. If that unit is battle lined, you get D3 models.
Oh my god.
Well, enemy is within your army Shadow Chaos or within 6 inches of any of the characters. It's -1 and then takes mortal wounds. Oh, okay.
Oh, you do take mortal wounds.
So the actual army rule, like the detachment rule, does the terror shades. What happens is on top of that, Be'lakor can heal.
Oh my god.
And then the detachment rule for demonic incursion is each time a unit from your army is set up to deep strike, if you're wholly within the shadow of chaos, you can set up an enemy 6 inches instead of 9.
Oh my god, for the deep strike.
So you can deep strike behind Bellicor, and if you're 6 inches, well, you should be 6 inches away from an enemy, and you'll be fine. So if Bellicor is base to base with an enemy, you can deep strike behind Bellicor, and it doesn't matter.
I feel like this army's just gonna push my shit in no matter how.
It's
much
going to
it's
try.
slow.
The problem is that the actual base data sheets, like the character data sheets for demons, are amazing.
Mhm.
Their base data sheets sort of suck.
Oh, okay. Like this is gonna be like, oh, my back line is definitely infiltrated, but maybe I can shoot them off of it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's any chaos demon army that I've faced has been a monster bash. They bring one of every big demon they can, and then just have a couple of nurglings for capturing the points.
Sure. Big monster, little China.
So
Okay. All
I
right.
like these detachments. They're good detachments. I do like that they're gonna keep doing them.
Maybe I'll actually see some demons at my local game store sometime. We don't have a lot of diversity.
So demons are rare, and then Dark Eldar are the Dark Eldar and Gene Stealer cults are the lowest played.
Wow, really?
Coming
Yeah.
from my good friend who plays Dark Eldar, that's not necessarily because a lot of people don't want to play Dark Eldar. It's because you cannot buy a shocking number of Dark Eldar models.
Oh, it's like some
Yes.
like old ranges or some shit. No refreshes.
No, they literally just are still have rules in the game and haven't been like available for purchase from Games Workshop for ages.
Sorry, what's this?
Dark
Dark
Eldar.
Eldar.
Ah, good times.
Are you vacuuming?
Not for anyone who plays.
No, I'm not vacuuming. I have a 3D printer running beside me.
Oh, okay.
Moving on to the second topic of the night.
Yeah. So I don't know if everyone is aware. I would hope so, because if you're not, you haven't been paying attention. But we got a comment
Yes.
on our
just got a comment. We just got a comment.
you moving
He's got
along.
kids. He's got
We on our last upload on YouTube, we got a comment on the video asking if we could please talk about the Tau from Patricia Stacy 2031. Hello, Patricia. Thank you for listening and watching and commenting. Hey, I'm deeply interested in the Tau. I hear a lot about or a lot from haters about them being weak on the tabletop. Can you expand on the Tau lore and maybe how to beef strategy to play? Well, nobody's immune to too many bullets. That is Tau philosophy 101. Melee is for bitches, and bullets are the saving grace of all things violent. Tau loves shooting. And so people that don't understand the concept of nuance will generally tell you that Tau are weak, but they're not weak. They're just maybe off meta currently because it's a very melee friendly meta at the moment. Now that's going to be my surface level summary. I will also occasionally refer to them as the blue weeaboo fish people. We'll get into that as well. But I'm going to hand it off to Limerick to talk about gameplay, and then we'll dig into some lore after. So, Dota, you're
to
up.
add something about communism.
Oh, right. Communist weeaboo fish space people.
Very good. Drink.
For the greater good.
So for gameplay, they don't do well in melee. They really don't. They fold like
Okay,
chickens.
one caveat to
With the
that, which
exception
Ryan
of
will test
one
to.
Chaos or Storm Raider Sorcerer.
They don't do well in melee, usually.
Yeah, so I mean, okay, let me rephrase that. It's not that they don't do well in melee, it's that their baseline troops are ranged troops. Their crisis suits do fine in melee because they can attack in melee now. Like it's not a they just don't excel at it. They use guns, and for good reason. Their guns are fantastic.
They've solved the equation.
Well,
Which,
but
fun fact, guess who taught the Tau how to make railguns?
Is it the Votan?
It's the Votan.
Votan.
It's no canon that the Votan traded railgun tech to the Tau.
It's also
Yeah,
canon
it's-
that they give them like the not good stuff.
The Tau are very, very technologically advanced as far as most of the Imperium or most of the galaxy is concerned. Even the Eldar from time to time look at the Tau and go, "How'd they do that?"
How'd they do that?
But that's because the Eldar. So the Tau focus really heavily on technology, and you won't see any we won't see many psychers, if any.
Gundam suits.
But you will see lots of technology, and in order to fight the big scary things, they decided to get suits of armor.
They're Gundam suits. They're not suits of armor.
But no, if you like painting big high tech suits of armor from like Mech Warrior or Armored Core, this is your thing. Like these are your people.
I will caveat that a little bit as a person who's a big fan of both Mech Warrior and Armored Core. They don't look good grimy. They're supposed to be like clean white lines. It really, as much as I'm memeing about the Gundam suits, it's the Gundam people that like the Tau more than anything else.
Yes.
Does Tau have any Titan units?
They do.
Yes, they do,
The
actually.
KV-98 Storm Surge, which if you know anything
it's
about the Tau
horrifying.
suits, take a Riptide and make it about 3 times the size and give it giant fucking like Titan cannons on its back. I'm gonna find a picture of this thing so I can put it in the chat so you can see. Hold on.
They also have the Manta.
Oh right,
Well,
they have a dropship that's the size of the fucking table.
I know about the Manta. I don't know the stats of it, but I know of it.
Big. The stat is big.
Big. This thing's sick as fuck.
Copy. Okay, I'm putting a picture into the chat here of the
Yes. Yeah, that looks like a knight base.
Yeah, that's roughly the size of a knight. Now, that's also not their biggest armor.
Isn't the Tauna?
The Taunar Supremacy armor. It's the KX-139 Taunar Supremacy armor. This thing is to the Storm Surge as the Storm Surge is to a Riptide. So the Storm Surge is roughly the size of a Knight Dominus. Like that cannon's a solid like 7 inches long. And as we all know, a 7-inch cannon does good work. This thing puts it to shame.
The fuck is that?
That's the
So-
Taunar Supremacy armor. That's their Forge World suit.
Their heavy rail cannon array
Array.
is 120-inch range. So you're hitting things on someone else's table.
Yeah, isn't
Yep.
that shit like fucking like destroy Navy destroyers out in the Gulf?
It's
of Mexico?
literally 2 tables.
2 shots.
Mark, you live in Florida. I'm pretty sure it's the Gulf of America.
Oh no, that's politics. Moving on. 2 shots.
2 shots hitting on 4s. Strength 26.
36.
-5 AP. So you don't get an armor save no matter what.
Yeah. I got void shields up.
Now, before you read out how much damage it does, let's point out that it has heavy and devastating wounds.
Okay.
It does 16 damage per wound.
16 damage per wound. Wow.
Yeah. 16 damage dev wounds.
I will never see anything like this on a tabletop ever.
No. It has heavy, meaning if it doesn't move, it hits on 3s. It has coordinated strike, which means that if a unit is guiding this model, it rerolls a 1.
Nice.
So, like, unless you roll a 2, you're screwed.
Well, and even then, if it's guided, because I think guided actually stacks with heavy because one of them changes the ballistic skill and one of them changes the hit roll. So if it's guided and it's shooting at its spotted target and it didn't move, it's hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so
And
very
then-
consistent, very nice artillery damage.
It's worth pointing out too that it's toughness 13 with a 2-up save and a 5-up invuln and 30 wounds.
Yes, that's
Moving everything I know of on a 2.
Yeah. So just for comparison and partially for my own curiosity here, because I've been looking at the Acastus Knight Porphyrion a lot lately,
Mhm.
which is the knights, both Imperial and Chaos, rough equivalent to the Taunar Supremacy armor. The Porphyrion has 2 sets of twin Magna las cannons, which have blast and twin linked, 72-inch range, d6 shots each. Hitting on 3s, it's strength 18, AP 4, damage d6 plus 6.
That's the way. That's not even equivalent at all. Wait a second.
Well, because there's 2 of them, it's 2 d6 shots. So it's potentially 12 shots, doing potentially 12 damage each.
Okay, that's pretty good.
But no
Heal
dev
3?
wounds.
Oh. Well, we just haven't. Humanity hasn't gotten there yet.
And then the other Titanic thing that it has is the Manta,
Yeah.
Ugh.
which is
Does the thing even have stats or just a stat?
oh no,
What
it
has
has
the
stats.
stat sheet?
It's T14. So okay, there we go.
Okay,
It doesn't get wounded by the Taunar on 2s. It gets wounded by the Taunar on 3s.
we should point out though that the Manta is 2,400 points.
Yeah,
Yes. And it has a 20-inch movement.
20-inch plus
60
because it's a flyer.
Yes.
Wow.
It has
Wow.
60 wounds.
Yeah.
The transport capacity of the following, of all of the following: 8 battlesuit models with wound characteristics of 9 or less. 4 Devilfish, Skyway, Gunship, or Hammerhead models. And then, if you're just looking for a little bit of infantry, you can bring 200 of them.
200
It's-
infantry.
And it's worth noting that this is not an or. You can bring 200 infantry and 4 hover tanks and 8 battle suits as long as each battle suit has less than 9 wounds.
ridiculous.
Yeah, the Tau has some cool shit.
And then on top of that, the Manta has guns like the heavy rail cannon with dev wounds at 120 inches, 1 shot, hits on 4, strength 26, AP 5, D12.
D12.
The Tau have cool shit, and on the table they are strong if paired or if used right. The problem is, like any army with cool crap, very rarely is there cool crap meta.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if you want to play them boringly, you'll play them well. But if you want to have fun and flavor, you might not.
Well, okay, let's go ahead and defend G-Dub a little bit on this one, because the last time the Tower meta, we had the Triptide meta, and nobody had fun.
Not even the Triptides.
Not even the Triptides, because it literally was bring 3 Riptides, hence the name Triple Riptide or Triptide, and win everything.
Oh.
This was in 7th edition, and Ryan can attest that Riptides were awful to play against in 7th edition.
Awful.
But
Just
so yeah,
why Chris had one.
on the table they can be strong. They are made fun of a lot because they are the less grimy of the Grimdark.
Well, they
I
are.
feel like they also just have a bit of a high skill ceiling, so you get a lot of people who think they're cool and have a hard time.
It's not
with
even the
because-
skill ceiling. They have a higher skill floor because their mechanics
skill
on the
floor,
table are
that's what I meant.
complicated.
That's what I meant.
don't
Sorry,
know.
higher skill floor, not a skill
How to
ceiling.
paint with white, okay?
Like it, so okay, their core mechanic with the update to 10th, which it still boggles my mind that they did this. They used to just have marker lights, and you could stack marker lights using marker light weapons, on targets, and then the more marker lights that they had, the different the effects were, right? It's essentially laser guidance for everything. Their guns are laser guided, their missiles are laser guided, their fucking dicks are laser guided. It's all laser guided. But now, instead of doing that, you have this whole guided spotter thing where you pick a unit to spot, and then you pick a unit to be guided by the spotter unit. And then if the guided unit shoots at the spotted target that the spotters picked, the guided unit gets +1 to their ballistic skill. And it's the description of how to use their core ability is like 3.5 paragraphs. And the rules around it are insanely restrictive to try and prevent the Tau from just like deleted. Like they're so afraid of turning them into the literal Terminator that they kind of neutered them. The other problem is with Taoyon and Mont Ka, their detachments are so hyper focused against specific enemy types that it can be hard to not feel like you're doing a little bit of list tailoring based on which detachment you run.
Right. Makes sense.
And that's them on the table. Their lore, however, is super cool.
Yes. But the lore I'm less involved with. So I'm going to mute up again for a few minutes and you guys explain why the youngest race in the galaxy are blue space communist weeaboo fish people that
Oh my god.
stole railgun tech from bought railgun tech from the Votan and don't like demons.
They are a proud race.
Yeah, no, so the first contact with the Tau was in the 35th millennium when an Adeptus Mechanicus fleet goes to their homeworld.
Wait, it gets to their homeworld?
Oh, yeah.
Wait,
What they see? Stone Age level of development with hunter and gathering people that have just mastered fire. And this was 6 millennia ago.
Sure. Yeah.
So like not that long ago in the terms of 40K.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty recent.
Um
I was about to say, like, how'd they get past the outer planet defenses to get to the homeworld?
because they didn't have them.
They didn't have shit back then.
What we know of is they had a period called the Montau, where the tribes were all warring until the Ethereals came and taught them the greater good.
The greater good. Drink.
Yeah,
Greater
and then the greater good is an idea that everybody is worth less than the whole.
Okay. I thought the greater good was like more like a force, honestly, not just the concept itself.
So there is speculation that it is developing in the warp as a force because it is an ideal, and the warp is a place of ideals.
I hope it's the force. I hope it's the force.
But
In its inception, though, it's just a political or societal philosophy.
yeah, and that means that you are only worth what you bring to society.
Damn.
But on the flip side, it means society looks after you if you bring something to society.
Right. Yeah. The whole. Now I'm starting. Now the gears are turning about why this is like relegated to the dustbin.
Whatever is best for the most people is what you should do.
Utilitarianism.
And they, on the surface, believe this deeply. That's why every time they've ever come across an alien race, they have tried to communicate with them and bring them into the Tau Empire.
Mm-hmm.
So the Tau are also the only race, except for technically the Dark Eldar, that have other races within their army.
Okay, and they're just kind of like diplomatic. First thing, diplomatic.
They do, and so like there's worlds with humans on them that live for the greater good.
Yeah, I like
humans have joined the Tau Empire, and
the Imperium does not like this.
No, they don't. So the way that they get through this is a caste system.
Oh.
The ethereals sit at the top of the system. Everybody obeys what they say. They are the the political and religious leaders of the Tau.
Alright.
They aren't, ironically, and this is important to notice, they are not Tau themselves.
Yeah, when you said the ethereals came, where do they come from?
We don't know.
Oh. Okay.
From
Yeah.
the warp.
They have a very low psychic presence, meaning that the ethereals are the most psychic people in the Tau Empire, and they register almost as non-existent in the warp.
Okay.
But they use that very small power to exert almost like a empathic control.
Mind control.
Not that deep, but more like if they want you riled up, you're gonna be riled up. You might not agree with them, but you're gonna be naturally more on like.
Are they gonna make me horny, Limerick?
Well, so the idea would be if they wanted to, so let's say they come to Earth and they're going to talk to you, Mark, and you're the world leader. They're going to empathically send out feelings of calm and acceptance. So you're going to have naturally higher acceptance to what they're saying, even if you don't agree with them. You're going to have to argue in your own head, wait, no, that doesn't make sense.
Okay.
It's not mind control because they don't control your thoughts. They change how you feel about things.
They change my behavior.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
The next cast down, or not down. I guess caste system is not hierarchical except for the ethereals. Ethereals sit at the top. Every other caste is equal to each other in importance, and this is again the greater good concept. The air caste are the Tau pilots. They actually were the Tau that lived in the mountains and the floating islands on the planet of Tau. And so they evolved to have less dense bones, making them lighter and less susceptible to G-force.
Yeah, birds.
So essentially, they have genetically become better at flying.
Yeah.
You have the water caste, which are their merchants and diplomats.
Now I'm getting it.
Because they're calm like the waves.
They have the earth caste, which are stout and stronger and shorter than usual Tau, but they're the scientists, engineers, artisans, laborers, technicians. They're the ones building the cities. They're the ones developing the technology. They're the backbone.
Blue space communist fish dwarves.
And then you have the fire caste, and the fire caste are all their warriors.
Sure.
They are as tall or just a bit shorter than a human, but their muscle density is higher. They are naturally faster, stronger.
This is just the Navi people from fucking Way of Water.
Essentially, they are the Navi.
It's so funny. All the overtones.
The
4 elements.
The thing, though, is that the Tau do not desire to destroy any other culture or religion.
Right, they're tolerant.
Exactly. So you could worship the Emperor under the Tau, so long as you do your job for society.
Man, Tau really aren't like an outlier here in the lore, aren't they?
Well,
they are. Well, they are to the point where there has been nothing written about it, but to the point where people are like, well, the ethereals must be like just raking in money and being the Stalin, right? Like they just have to be that evil, right?
Where's the Grim Dark in my Grim Dark universe?
Right. Now, again, they're not going to send people off. So like on a planet that is, let's say, human controlled, the humans say they're going to be part of the Tau Empire. They integrate. They will ship off some of the humans to other planets so that it disperses the population a bit, because they're not stupid. They do understand that revolts happen and stuff.
Sure.
But they will recruit and they'll use humans as enforcers. They would rather the population that they're enveloping place themselves under the Tau rule than use Tau to do it.
Right. Yeah, more accepting.
So that's Tau's society. As a general rule, Tau don't live very long.
Oh,
Like I'm talking 40 to 50 years.
that's not that bad.
So what that means is the greatest of them die pretty quickly, right?
Sure.
So what they've developed is a technology where they sort of clone your neural pathways and make you an AI.
Oh no, that's off limits.
Exactly. See, this is where the Imperium starts to get upset.
Oh, now we're starting to get upset at this point.
Abominable
And-
intelligence, baby.
And these AI are what are in their drones.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
The fucking president of Earth is in my marker light drone.
Well, so the idea is that, like, for example, I'll get into this later, but Commander Shadowsun, she's very important. She's been around forever because she keeps getting cryo frozen between each battle.
Oh my god.
She has drones that are literally imprints of dead officers that she has come to trust over the years.
Okay. Okay.
Because she will ask them for input and stuff.
That's kind of weird.
So, like, her shield drone wasn't a friend at one point.
That's all right. It's good. All right. That's a bit macabre.
All I can hear right now is fucking Lydia from Sky. I'm sworn to carry your burdens.
Yeah.
Please let me die.
So their idea of combat comes in two forms. You have the Monka, which is the strike.
Montka is the patient
Aggressive
hunter,
one.
and Kao Yan is the aggressive one.
No, other way around.
Do I have it backwards?
Yeah, Monka is the aggressive one. Patient hunter is the Kayon.
Okay.
Anyways, the idea is Monka is attacked before you can be attacked. Kayon is prepare the battlefield so that when you are attacked, you're standing on top.
So Space Wolves and Imperial Fist.
Essentially. There's two, so these two schools of thought have hundreds of followers, and there's two people who eventually come to the top pinnacle of them. Shadow Sun becomes the pinnacle person for Kayun, and a commander called Farsight becomes the pinnacle person for Monka. The problem is that Farsight decides to leave the Tau Empire.
He decides that the ethereals are bullshit.
Yes.
Politics.
He does not like the fact that the ethereals are running everything and they're not Tau.
Yeah, what do they even do for the society?
This is his thing. But this comes after years of fighting for Tau. Like, this isn't like he eventually gets there, not starts there.
We must take back the means of production from the proletariat.
Yeah. And so he eventually splits off and people leave with him. And the people that leave with him are known as the Farsight Enclave.
Oh, I've heard these words before spoken this way.
Yeah. And so they leave. They're doing their own thing right now. Right now fighting, I want to say the Death Guard, like current day. But the idea is now if you believe Farsight, the ethereals are holding Tau back. And it's not that the greater good is bad, it's that the ethereals aren't living up to their end.
Interesting.
It's not like Farsight wants to burn the thing down and become king.
Sure.
Even the Enclave does the greater good. They just don't believe. So his big issue was the whole taxation without representation.
Oh, I know these words.
Yeah. He didn't like the fact that the tower ran, or that the ethereals ran everything, and the tower just told to sort of deal with it.
Yeah, yeah.
So he, in the enclave, everybody gets a say.
Okay.
However, again, because realism is a thing, in the enclave, everybody's supposed to get a say, but Farsight is a celebrity god, so nobody disagrees with him.
Sure.
I mean, you have a say, sure, but like nobody uses it.
Hail Caesar.
So,
Can I run Farsight and an Ethereal on the same board together in an army?
Nope.
oh,
Oh, really? Why not?
legitimately, I'm not 100% sure. Well, it's because they hate each, or he hates them.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I could run Imhotep and the Silent King in the same army. That's no problem.
I mean, maybe you could. Let me see if there's a.
You know, 10th
I'm
edition
pretty
goes
sure I
right after
remember Farsight having a rule that says
Yeah, no, independent power. If your army includes Commander Farsight, it cannot include Ethereal. If your army includes any Ethereal, it cannot include Commander Farsight.
What can't we have that? What is the fuck is this shit?
Mark's over here like, God damn it, I want more rules.
Our feud has lasted thousands of times longer than your civilization has been around.
Oh, and the fun thing about Farsight is, remember how I went back and said like that Taos aren't melee ideal?
Yes.
He carries a sword.
We've got a
Where did he
demon
get it?
blade.
Oh, I was like, where did he get it from?
He carries the Dawn Blade, and it is a demon blade, but because again they don't really have a presence, it's not as dangerous to him.
Yeah.
However, everybody then goes, okay, but if he kills people with a demon blade, is he just serving chaos?
Next question, please.
Oh, yeah. Their big first fight was that their big testing point was that they turned aside High Fleet Gorgon.
Oh wow.
They lost a lot of people to do it, but again, the idea was they had very advanced technology and a lot of people willing to die for the greater good. And yeah,
Now I've heard that they have, they have advanced, super cool technology. I've heard that there's been controversy for in lore about their faster than light capabilities across
they don't
edition.
have it.
What do you mean they don't have it?
They don't have FTL. They can't use the warp. They haven't discovered the webway. They get everywhere the slow way.
Not quite. They have been testing a puddle jumping method.
Oh, that's right.
So the idea is, so first off, they're not the only faction that can't use the warp.
Sure. I can't use it.
Necrons don't use the warp to FTL either.
No, we just use cold hard steel and science.
You just sort of exist everywhere.
I know.
Actually, they use gravity. Same with the Tyranids.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
no.
Tyranids don't use the warp either. What they do is they send off a scout probe, and the scout probe gravimetrically pulls the fleet towards it.
Nice.
Anyways, what they've been testing with the Tau is what people call puddle jumping. It's a engine that what they think does is allows them to condense space and jump on the hardened space, go fast, right?
Okay.
What they really do is rip tiny holes into the warp, but don't actually go into it because they can't. They just skim the surface and it bounces them along their way.
It just bounces them along the
They
edge of the
ricochet
warp.
off the warp for speed.
That sounds terribly dangerous.
Oh, it is. It horribly is. There's been times where they've opened the warp, and before they can bounce off it and close it, demons come out.
It's like, sir, the fuel is screaming at me. I'm not sure what's going on here.
Well, but this is the thing, because they don't have the same presence. They don't see that, and this is something I find fascinating. It hasn't been written about, but the points all point the same way. They would see demons the same way, or a lot closer to how Sisters of Silence would see demons.
Yeah, like oh, it's just some bald dude. I don't know what's going on.
It's just a monster.
Yeah.
Because they aren't inundated with the warp fear that the demons put out.
Right.
So
we did get Tau versus Demons lore recently.
we did corn demons.
Yep. Farside Empire of Lies is the book.
Yes, and he does go to war with corn demons, and Corn insinuates that he's very happy with what Farsight's doing.
Well, sure, I guess.
But also kind of implies that the Chaos Gods are scared of the Tau.
Really?
Yeah, so again, they're a faction of people that don't. They are where the Emperor was going. They're a faction of people that have grown without the use of warp.
Yeah.
The
Alright.
Emperor wanted all of humanity to be shoved in the webway until they could evolve to a point where they could control the warp better than the Chaos Gods.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then they'd come out of the webway and just essentially say, nah, sorry, later.
Neener.
And the Chaos Gods would wither and die. Well, the Tau will accomplish the same thing if they ever kill everybody, because they don't feed the warp the same way.
Right.
But the problem is that they are never going to be able to kill everybody.
Yeah, they're just too slow. It's
Well,
like, is every tabletop skirmish game I play against Tau just like, I happen to be in your neighborhood. This is why we're fighting. Like,
essentially, so they have expansion spheres, is what they call them. Spheres of expansion, where they send out massive fleets to go conquer new areas. But when I say conquer new areas, I'm literally talking about like the next closest star system.
right, yeah.
Most of the time, if the
So-
Tau are fighting someone, they went to the Tau.
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense.
That being said, that has also changed recently in lore because with the Great Rift opening up, a few Tau ships have been hurled way off course. And so this is why the Tau and the Tia and Typhus are fighting, is because it was literally they got thrown together in the same system after the rift opened up.
Fun.
But it's funny to so remember how I said that the Tau tried to diplomat everything?
Yeah.
They tried that with humanity as well.
Yeah, sure.
Humanity said no.
No.
So they tried again, and every time they came up to humanity, they tried to use diplomacy, to the point where they tied and captured a space marine and tried to indoctrinate him or re-indoctrinate him towards the Tau way of life.
Yeah.
The space marine's head hemorrhaged.
Okay. Why?
There's no indoctrination like Imperial indoctrination.
Exactly.
Wait, did he kill himself on purpose, or did he just like the programming went off and then it just?
No, it was a does not compute.
Yeah, he refused to accept the information he was receiving in 404 out.
Oh, okay. God damn.
So the Tau have since put a shoot first, ask questions later only on Space Marines.
Only on Space Marines. Yeah, because they will not. You'll never get them to
Right.
come to you.
They want to, and they're willing to. And there's been stories where Imperial agents with Space Marines have worked alongside Tau.
Huh.
Like the Ultramarines have worked with the Tau several times. There's a Death Watch book where an Imperial Inquisitor has Death Watch guards, and they are working with the Tau to try and figure out the Tyranids.
There's also rumors that the Tau have started trying to create their own Space Marines.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Everyone's doing that though. Like, I mean, come on.
They've gotten closer than most other attempts.
How does this happen?
So, well, because they don't have the biomancy down, we'll call it. But what they've done is that's how the crisis suits came about.
Yeah.
The crisis suits were their answer to Space Marines.
I need to find some book or excerpt towards Necrons interact with the Tau.
And the problem is that the crisis suits are just expensive.
Oh my god. It's a communist society. What? Expensive?
It's not expensive. It still takes
Materially.
resources.
Ah, fine. I guess. Yeah, if you can't branch out and like, make fucking manufactorum worlds and shit.
But it's funny because they have caught AdMech, they have caught other races before, and like they've caught Space Marines and been like, how do you make your armor? How do you do this? How do you do that? And they're amazed at the ignorance that the Imperium has.
Yeah.
How do you make your armor? I don't know. It was handed me when I was turned into a Space Marine.
It's like, how do you maintain it? I have really no idea how
I
to
give it to the
maintain.
serfs.
Yeah, and but like they've gone and captured like Mechanicus and been like, okay, you're so close to this stage of technology. Why didn't you make that leap? Oh, because it's heresy.
It's heresy.
And the tower, like, what?
Yeah.
New things are against my religion. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
And so, like, they're baffled at the backwardness of the Imperium.
Yes.
They're also baffled. So, like, the Tau are a relatively young race, right?
Yeah.
Which means they're also a relatively small race. They have, like, shown up on human worlds that have hive cities with billions of people
Yeah.
and been like, how do you get that many people in a city?
Mhm.
You make it taller.
Like, they're just fascinated at the numbers that the Imperium can throw out.
Yeah. It's our greatest asset is our bodies we can lay in the foundation.
Well, like, so they're, and what baffles them is like, if they had the numbers the Imperium did, the Tau would win in their head. Because, like, if everybody's fighting for the greater good and we have that many people fighting, who's stopping us?
Yeah, exactly. God,
So
I guess.
they're like, the Imperium not only has so many people, but they're also weak-willed bullshit.
Yep. Yep. That's pretty much sums it up.
But no, and it's funny because like they have all the problems that society has. They have corruption and greed and all that as well. But their overarching system works because people don't ask questions. And when you do ask questions, you turn into Farsight and get enclaved.
Yep.
I don't know that everyone gets an enclave for asking questions.
No, everyone just get killed.
I do have one more little segue question for this lore round table. So, Tau, they seem to have a nice little, motif going, super technology, crisis suits, all this stuff. Looking at online stuff, there seems to be a little sub faction in the Tau line.
Oh, the Kroot.
It looks very different than what I've expected them to have.
Yeah, they're not Tau. They were the first race that the Tau integrated.
Yeah. Yeah. This guy's got a spear.
Yeah.
He's in a loincloth.
Yeah. Do you know
You.
do you know much about Warhammer Fantasy?
No, I know Bellacore. He's in there.
Well, okay. Do you know much about the Lizardmen?
No, I do not.
So the Lizardmen have a subspecies called the Skinks, which are smaller, weaker, but sneakier
Echoes.
and very stabby.
Okay.
That's the Kroot. They are the they're the closest thing that the Tau get to an orc.
Okay. But how does the Kroot exist in the Tau empire?
They're a non-caste allied species. So they're given access to Tau technology, but they never have a say. Essentially, the Tau take care of them and they fight alongside the Tau. Because there's another sub race called the Vespids that has a unit too.
Oh, yes, those ones. I heard about
and
those
that's
ones.
their like airborne infantry kind of thing. So
Okay.
allied
Yeah,
races given Tau technology.
So again, this goes to the whole idea that like I've seen a lot of people do up humans with Tau bits because there's
The Glevesa.
the Glevesa, which are humans that are allied to the Tau.
That's cool. I like that.
They serve in the Tau armed forces.
Yeah, and so like, it's the same with the Kroot. The Kroot are their scouts and hunters.
Do you think
they eat everything though?
Oh my god. Do you think that Tau would ever get rules made up? Like, God, I remember it was like sometime last year when they did the whole I think it was the Texas Open. They announced stuff for the Gene Stealer cults, where the codex you can take a certain number of
Yeah, that's one of
faster
the
than light
GSC
units.
detachments.
Do you think that
So
Tau will ever get that ability to pull in other armies?
I don't think so, only because they did that back in 3rd or 4th edition.
Was that
Where
also
there,
when orcs could loot tanks?
I think so,
Yes.
but there was a chart, a big ass chart in the rule book, and it listed how every army felt about every other army.
That's hilarious.
And if you were allies of convenience or better, you could bring that army's units in a small segment.
Allied detachment, yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
will say the loss of looted wagons was tragic because it was literally like not good for competitive at all, but you could buy a tank from any other faction, use clippers
Slap
and
some
stuff
orky bits on it.
use clippers and stuff to like smash it up and put some orcs on it, and it counted.
Yes, I have seen that before.
It was amazing.
Some of the orky like Lehman Russ conversions that I've seen are just incredible.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
the Tau are a lot of fun. They on the table do a lot of good things, or a lot of things well. Like they aren't the GSC, which is so close to being inept that it shouldn't be an army, and they're not. But they're not a Space Marine army either. They take a lot of skill to play.
Isn't it also just with the crude? Isn't it also like the reason they eat everything is because they can actually like integrate DNA and
Yes.
evolve themselves?
Yep.
Yeah, the things that those crew ride
The crew
are
talks.
crude.
Oh wait, are those just more crude?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just evolved differently because they had a different
Diet.
food chain.
Oh
Those
my
are the
God.
crew that ate rhinos.
And orcs and space marines.
Yeah, like oh wait, well, Space Marines can eat things and then
but-
become it. What the fuck's that? We can have that.
That's
Yeah. So I will eventually paint a Tau power suit eventually because I do find they're cool.
Mhm.
I mean,
but I don't know if I could do a whole army of them because they just aren't my playstyle.
the playstyle was a lot more fun back in the day when it was charge me, I dare you, because you could chain Overwatch through the entire army.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say back when Overwatch wasn't a once per turn
Well,
stratagem.
as
and
it
was
is,
just, you could
Tau
use
can
it if you were getting charged.
Tau can Overwatch multiple times. Like that's just a thing that they get, if I remember right.
It's a stratagem, but yeah.
Yeah.
They have a very cool place in 40K. And as I have stated to several people who hate on them, it really does feel like a you hate us because you ain't us type thing.
Yep.
Yeah, they got a lot of cool toys.
Well, and cool looking things. Like, how cool would it be to have a crisis suit style like Eldar?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the Wraith whatever's
Well,
essentially.
exactly. But for the thing is, it seems like the idea or mentality behind balancing Tau is never going to be. It's always going to be. We want you to bring the crisis suits.
Yeah.
Or the war suits.
Especially now that you can bring 18 of them.
Yeah, they're never going to be. I don't think there's ever going to be a list where you don't bring a suit.
Mhm.
And like balanced play. Like there's the crew detachment for the fun of it and stuff, but whereas like in the other lists or in other armies, the better units aren't always the cool looking ones. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's cool. I think the idea that Farsight is getting his story expanded is also cool.
I'm always a fan of more lore because more new lore is a good thing. But
Yes.
I have a hard time. The only thing I have a hard time with the Tau is that they do feel sort of like too much of a glimmer of hope in a dark universe.
Yeah.
You can't cast a shadow without at least one light source.
Right, but like, so the issue that I have with the Tau is that like within the Tau there is no bad guy.
Like, where's the vice? Where's the gritty?
Right, like,
That's what's the best about orcs. All the orcs are actually quite happy.
well, but like there's infighting still. Like there's still like
Yeah.
if somebody
Yeah,
steps to Gaz,
way they
Gaz
like
is going to
it.
crush him.
But at the
Exactly.
same time, none of us have to play Tau, and having one faction that's just a little bit less grimdark is probably not the worst thing.
No,
No,
yeah.
and-
Something for everybody.
It fits. It's not like these guys are paladins of truth and order and everything. No, they will be the first to admit that yeah, they sacrifice a crap ton of bodies, but it's for the greater good.
Yep.
Sure.
For the greater good. All right.
But the drink.
That is we're gonna call the drinking game there before we intentionally give you alcohol poisoning. It's been nice to do a full-length episode again. I'm glad you guys were here. I appreciate that. We'll be back in 2 weeks. This hopefully has been uploaded on time. Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. And in the meantime, if you have stuff you want us to talk about, as you've seen tonight, definitely just drop us a comment on any of the platforms that we're on. We'll see it. We'll take a look and we'll chit chat about what your questions are. So until then, take care of yourselves. This is the Blackstone crew signing out. We'll see you then.
Peace.
Night.
Peace.